Hello everybody, welcome back to 10-Minute Reviews. I'm Jason. This is my fuzzy co-star Freya. She may or may not make an appearance on the camera. Those of you guys that have watched us before know she likes to kind of fur missile attack me at some point. We're bringing you today's video. As always guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're just a small family channel. Just love to talk about books, love to read books, love to talk about books, and we hope to bring more books to people, more things for people to read. We don't think enough people read for fun. So, and we would appreciate any support you guys might want to give us via subscriptions and likes. And of course, comments or emails on book suggestions. I get quite a few book suggestions from our viewers. I've read some fantastic books that were suggested to me by our viewers. So today I want to talk about a book, a series that I've talked about in the past, and an author I've talked about many times in the past. And this is, I want to say, book 5 of a series. I want to talk about John Van Stry and his Portals of Infinity series. And book number 5. Really cool series. Considering I'm a fan of Van Stry, or Stryvant, or Van Stryvant, he operates under a lot of different pen names. It definitely amazed me that I somehow missed the Portals of Infinity series. And it's one's been out for a while. This series came out over a decade ago. Somehow missed it. Absolutely fantastic series. I believe it is still ongoing. I know there's 10 or 11 books in it so far. And it's, again, it's a fascinating series, and there's so much potential for pretty much an infinite number of worlds. You can have science fiction, he hasn't done it yet, but you could have Western. And because it's also different universes and different gods, you have different laws of physics. It's really fascinating, some of the worlds that he's created, and you can just see how there's just infinite potential. Anything. If he wants to write sci-fi, he can. If he wants to write a space opera, he can. If he wants to write a space western, he could, and they could all occur within this multiverse-ish type thing, these spheres that he has created with the Portals of Infinity. Absolutely fantastic. So once again, we return to our main character, Will. I'm skipping the usual 4 categories because I've talked about him already. I'm just going to talk about the book. We once again return to our main character, Will. And for those of you guys that have read the previous books, and hopefully you have, if not, go back and check the review for book 1 and then go read book 1, because there are going to be a few spoilers for previous books. So we've got Will, and he's the champion of Feligustius, and pretty much kind of doing his usual stuff to start the book. But then he ends up experiencing some illnesses that usually doesn't occur for champions. God champions, they're pretty much immune to disease, things along those lines. And what turns out to be fairly amusing about it is, for those that have already read up to this point, Will did spend some time in one sphere, the Cyrene sphere, where everybody was gender swapped. And so he was a female while he was in this particular sphere, and got pregnant. And the gods, both his god, his allied gods, and the god of that sphere that he had aided, he had helped, they all agreed to help and preserve this child once he left the sphere, so that he would be able to come back at some point and have this child. So you've got Will, who's this god champion. All of a sudden, he's experiencing morning sickness. So he talks to the gods and realizes that it's time. He's been putting it off a little bit too long. He needs to go and he needs to have this child. So Will returns to the sphere that he was at. And he's something of a hero there. If you guys will remember, he helped win that war. His singing and songs and his band were the main reason, because again, the laws of physics are different, especially within this particular one, and music is the main thing. It has the power. You can kill with music. You can win a war with music. In fact, he did win a war with music. So he's something of a hero. And so, but of course, he's got enemies as well. So a couple of other champions do show up, one of which is a former enemy of his, do show up and protect or try to protect. So Will eventually has the child. Now, of course, there's some rules involved, so brand new infants can't travel through portals, so he's got to stay there. And of course, there's an attack. Naturally, there's an attack, and the child is kidnapped, and Will is killed. Now, again, God's champions cannot be killed. So once he resurrects back in his own sphere, he has to go get his child. So with the help of some other champions, the kind of the Avengers of the Portals of Infinities, a lot of champions that we've already met, and a few that are brand new, he does manage to retrieve his child, only for his child to be kidnapped again later. And that kind of leads into the main threat, not the plot, because the plot is pretty much just rescuing the child twice, but kind of the main hint or main explanation of what is going on with this particular child. Because Will's got lots of children, but this particular child is very, very special. And why is that? Well, you've got a child that is born of a champion, but the other parent is also a champion, which makes it interesting. And along with that, the other parent was a champion at the time of conception, but is now a god themselves. So due to some of the rules of this multiverse and how the gods and demigods and things along those lines work, the child is very, very, very special. How special, we're not going to say. Along with that, by the way, Selwig, his former foe, from the same book that led to Will getting pregnant, shows back up as well. And same thing, trying to follow some of the rules, or trying to utilize some of the rules that govern gods and their abilities and godhoods and things like that, to try and ascend and become a god himself. So it's pretty interesting, because we have this kind of two-pronged thing going on with, you know, Will, the male champion, having morning sickness and then giving birth to a child through odd means, and then, bless you, and then the return of Cell. It's all pretty fascinating. So you guys definitely should check it out. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.